Hi, everyone. Welcome to DomainSherpa, and thank you for tuning into the podcast with the best domain name and digital asset content in the world. Today's episode is a DomainSherpa review titled Old Habits Die Hard, featuring Shane, Josh, and Drew. On today's show, we play the domain game featuring Culet.com, TechPioneer.com, and Deadbolt.ai. Then we've got the NameJetGonnaJet segment, sponsored by NameJet, and we talk about some domains coming up for auction, including Arcon.com, Tesoro.com, and GeneTherapy.com. The Sherpas also talk about alternate domain extensions, including .ai, and premium renewal fees and how increased carrying costs can impact your domain portfolio. We also get into an unrelated discussion about saunas and cold plunges, but also a lot more domain talk as well. All that and more is coming up on today's show. And remember, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, you can also watch the video version at DomainSherpa.com and on our YouTube channel at ds.tv. You can also listen to the shows on Apple and Spotify and other podcast platforms as well. So please make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button and everything where you can to help DomainSherpa grow the pie. We also integrate our shows with Muse.ai, which provides search functionality for the shows and transcripts as well. And big shout out to Unstoppable Domains, the only ICANN accredited registrar that lets you trade DNS domains on chain and access crypto investors. With 3% commissions at cost renewals and hundreds of resellers soon to be integrated, they're a cutting edge marketplace you need to know about and use to get more sales and keep your costs down. Unstoppable can save you thousands in registration costs. They've got $5.com Fridays and $5 off all transfers in. No promo code required. And big shout out to escrow.com. Here at MediaOptions, we've relied on escrow.com for years. They've handled some of our biggest deals, including 7- and 8-figure transactions. We use their specialized domain services because they understand domains. As the largest online and audited escrow operator, escrow.com is fast, secure, and accountable with workflows built specifically for domains. Whether you're buying your first domain or closing million-dollar deals, they protect buyers and sellers around the world from fraud while ensuring smooth transfers every time. Escrow.com, domain deals done right. And last but not least, shout out to our own business, MediaOptions, the #1 domain brokerage in the world. Find out more at MediaOptions.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter for the best domain opportunities available in the market every week, and also featuring key insights and other helpful information related to branding, naming, and domain investing. And also some upcoming domain conferences that we definitely want to mention. We've got NamesCon Global, November 5th and 6th in Miami. Go to namescon.com for more information and to register. Use coupon code DS20, that's DS20, to get 20% off the ticket price. And on the topic of domain conferences, we've got the ICA annual member meeting coming up January 15th to the 17th at the Park MGM in Las Vegas. Go to ica.vegas for more information, and we'll see everybody there as well. So now with that, it's time to get into this episode of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, a.k.a. Sherpa Winfrey, and I'm the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, which we haven't done in a minute, where we get into the minds of the most successful domain investors in the world using real examples so we can learn strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. The experts, the OGs, my homeboys. And I'm really looking forward to today's show. There's 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. We've got the grand opening. That's where we are right now. That's where I intro the Sherpas. We see what's going on with them, talk about some related things, some unrelated things, do some AKAs. Then we get into the domain game. That's where we hear about what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. Everybody guesses on the price. We keep score, and eventually, somehow, some way, someday, proven by the fact that Josh is rocking his Domain Sherpa hoodie right now, we do get the swag to the winners. And then we got segment 3, which is NameJetGonnaJet. We review a list of domains coming up for auction on NameJet, see what the Sherpas like and what they don't like. And then last but not least, we get grand closing, where we'll discuss anything that we haven't covered already, what's going on in the domain space, and looking at the market trends, current events, allowing the guests to mention or promote anything they want to talk about that we've not already discussed. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. Over to my right, I got my boy, Andrew Rosner, a.k.a. Morpheus, a.k.a. the Dirk Diggler of digital assets, a.k.a. Bob Lee Swagger, the Sniper, a.k.a. Drew. Drew got what I need, a.k.a. never going to give Drew up. Get Rickroll, Graybeard, the domain pirate is in the building. What's up, bro?
All right. I'm good. Good. I have always been a creature of habit, but as I get older, that just intensifies for better or worse. I think the important thing is not to judge whether it's good or bad. I think it's just to accept it as what it is. And the more I lean into that, the better I feel. And so I'm back to all of my habits, both good and bad. and it feels great.
Yeah, I
And
love that. Like, I'm back to my old habits, like good or bad, baby.
no, good and bad, not good or
Yeah.
bad. Some are good, some are bad. Very
Oh, I'm
definitively.
saying, yeah,
But
and or whatever.
but they all it feels great, and I'm back. Today was a great fucking day, man. I woke up, as I always do, and then uh, I I did a little bit of work. I did a little email, but then I went straight in my sauna. I really I cooked it up in the sauna today. And then I went straight from my sauna. I finally refilled after about a 7-month hiatus. I refilled my cold plunge yesterday and cleaned it out, filled it up, got it cold, cooled down overnight. And so I did my sauna. I hit the cold plunge. I managed to get 3 minutes. I'm gonna get back to my 5. I'm just gonna take a
Mm.
little bit. That shit hurt. I'm not gonna lie. 3 minutes today freaking hurt. That was 8 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is. Y'all can do your math.
I hate when
I
you do
ain't,
that.
but um, it hurt, but it was great. I got out. I
Oh,
went
eight
laid in the
degrees Celsius?
sun.
Oh,
We're having an extended summer over here in Lisboa,
Okay,
so
it's like
went out
45
and laid in
degrees
the sun.
Fahrenheit.
yeah, that's some pussy shit, dude.
Got my huh?
You saying 8 degrees Celsius is nothing, man. That's nothing.
No, that's it. Well, you want 7 or 8 degrees. Colder than that is just stupid. Because what people lose is they all get their ego involved. They're like, oh, I did 3 degrees, 4 degrees. I'm like, okay, moron. And the point is, like, if you're in at 4 degrees, you're going to stay in for a shorter duration than you would if it was 7 or 8 degrees. And the
Yeah.
difference in the temperature makes, from what I can tell in all the research I'm reading, makes absolutely no difference. Same goes for the sauna. Above above 170 degrees Fahrenheit, there's maybe 175. There's really no benefit. So there's people
There
that
are
are
not a lot of saunas that go that high anyway.
I was just
Like
gonna
most of
say,
them
man,
can't.
that's like
Yeah.
that.
oh yeah,
That's
no,
like
they
the
are you know, no.
But most of the infrared, no, I'm talking about most of the
Oh no,
infrared,
no, the infrareds, no. They're
they
not the
cap out at
infrared.
like
No, but a
155.
traditional Finnish sauna, Nordic sauna will do, somewhere between a buck 60 on the really low end. That's like what they'll do a herbal thing or some and then you can go up to 205 Fahrenheit. So
I've never done that
but
hot. That
but at
right.
190, 195, 200, like I've been in that sauna, and I don't. I just think that that's stupid because it's so hot. You literally like you can feel your skin like burning or whatever sensation it is you're feeling. It ain't good. You're cooking your gonads. Your brain is definitely not loving the freaking heat. And uh uh anyways, it's too hot. And the research is less. There's far less research on the cold plunge than there is on the sauna. There's endless research on saunas, and above 170 degrees or 174, I think there's almost zero benefit, or I think there is zero benefit. In fact, at 190 and above, you start having detrimental benefits. So you start increasing cardiovascular risk. Whereas at 170, 174, 165 even, you're reducing cardiovascular risk or actually all mortality risk by 60% by doing 3-4 sauna sessions per week. And I think it's the same with cold plunge. So at 7 or 8 degrees, I can do 3 to 5 minutes, and that's great. And at 4 degrees, I have to do 2 minutes and suffer and not be able to get to a nice, calm breathing rhythm for 3 to 5 minutes. I'm more just hyperventilating, dying at 4 degrees. And that's just stupid. You need the duration. You're trying to activate the cold shock proteins, heat shock proteins in the sauna.
Then have you ever tried
Takes
doing
great, takes
contrast,
time.
Drew? Have you ever tried doing contrast? So like going sauna and then
Right.
like, but do you do but done like 1 minute, 1 minute in the cold plunge, then back into the sauna, and then afterwards go for like 3 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no reason to believe that benefits. It very well may. What I do believe though is that contrast is actually where you find most of the benefits, and that is
Yeah.
complete speculation on my part.
I think so
It's
too.
just based on the way that I feel.
Same.
If I go straight from like exercising and I go into my cold plunge, I don't feel as good. I don't. It's almost clear to me, at least, that like maybe that's good like for pulled muscles. Maybe that's good for like say if I've created inflammation through whatever exercise I was doing or sports. But I don't think that it's good at like reducing chronic holistic inflammation. I don't
It's
think
bad
it's
for you. You'd never go in a cold plunge after it. The point of inflammation, normal inflammation, is healing, reparation, and muscle building.
that's
If
it.
you reduce that, you reduced your work that you just did. The only
Exactly.
reason I sub afterward is for injury.
Yeah.
You know, when
Makes
you
sense.
want to, but going in after the, and runners have proven this a long time. Most of training is mental, right? So you're teaching your body not to protect itself. So when you run, you're running to get in better shape, but you're really just introducing things to your body because your body naturally, if you can't breathe, you pass out and you breathe. If you can't run, it throws lactic acid in your legs, so you try and stop you. It races your heart rate because it says, I want to get it so fast you're going to stop. So the whole purpose of your body is to protect you. And all these things you're doing are introducing things to shock it and show it that you are going to survive after it and to take off some of those governors. And so a lot of the things people don't understand, it's really just taking the governors off your mind to unprotect yourself, which can get quite dangerous if you slowly introduce things that are harder and harder to where it just doesn't even protect you at all and you die. But in general, people don't really understand why they're doing things. They just see it and hear it and do it, and they have no clue why they're doing it. So
And
when someone
intention is
tells
such
them,
a big thing. Whether it's placebo or not, intention is huge. It really is.
yeah,
Just to conclude my thought, for me, what I personally feel is the most productive for me, including today, is just going from my sauna to my cold plunge. And I do a 30-minute sauna followed by as long of a cold plunge as I possibly can do. And then I went and I did a workout about 2 hours later and I felt great. And so
that's all that matters.
anyways, that's the state of the nation over here. Feeling great. Extended summer. You know, sales are good. We closed two 7-figure deals this week. And yeah, it's great.
The sauna
Oh,
stuff
the
is
world didn't end. We dropped the Dicker tapes. The world didn't end. Mostly had only positive feedback. People were really excited to be able to go back and listen to, whether it was Rick Schwartz or Birkins or Schilling or Shane or, just going back and reviewing some of the names. And then actually what a lot of people seem to be doing is going back and like looking at those reviews and then looking at what happened to those names. And I will say, not biased at all, but I will say that people are saying, holy shit, Drew was so right about all these names. The names that I said I liked ended up selling to end users subsequently. And so it's just another data point about
people are he's on the Trump thing. He's like, people are saying I'm amazing. Yeah, so real quick on that. Yeah, no, I think that it wasn't some huge thing. I mean, we obviously had some fun with the release because, they'd been, offline for a long time and we'd had a lot of people, including Rick, who got back, we had him on the show last week. And, when we met with Rick and Birkins in Miami and, it was a really big, long conversation around, hey, that's content that we would really love to see online. I mean, when they talked about, and this is really kind of what got to me, they talked about how much time they prepared for the shows back in the day. He's like, Mike and I, is what Rick said. He was like, Mike and I would get together and talk for literally prep for hours to talk about the names they were going to discuss and the different things, and then spend, hours on camera, and then, all of that kind of stuff that, I think it's important. It's like a time capsule, and obviously, we're not endorsing anybody's behavior, activities, beliefs. I mean, it's literally just the idea that this content is out there. It's like a time capsule of the domain space, and with some of the most important OGs in the space, and you get to see Shane like looking like 18 years old again. It's like
I was in my Lane Kiffin's stage with my visor.
You don't even look that much different now, which is actually pretty wild. Like all you guys, it's still pretty consistent. Anyway, so I think that's
I look younger than I do like now than I did then. I look at some of the videos, I'm like, I look freaking
washed out and old back in the day.
Yeah, I was like, geez.
That was pre-sauna and pre-cold plunge. But I think
I did watch the first ever episode that you featured on, and Mike was like, and he was kept referring to you as the newbie, and I thought, I will say this, Drew, I thought that you were clearly the one that actually knew what you were talking about.
Look at that, man. So why you got to do that? Why you got to help, like, inflate the ego even more? But no, but I think it's
It's not
very
about the ego. I don't have an ego anymore. It's all good. But
Oh, God.
the point is not about, stroking my ego. The point is about
Oh, it's-
solidifying the idea in the minds of our listeners that the person they should listen to is me. So I'm always right.
The
He's
good
like, no,
thing, GT, here's the thing. Like, if I tell him how good he is, I get to also say, when I don't agree without him,
no,
thinking
it's
that.
true. It's
Yeah,
true. It's
Josh
like,
has mastered the domain diplomacy thing. He's good.
no, it is it's really true. But he's like, no, I don't have an ego. In fact, people are saying I have the least ego of everyone. That I have the best amount of ego possible. But
Optimum ego efficiency.
optimum ego. But I think it's great. I think that, again, I think enough time has passed. I think that obviously, we want to be sensitive to how people feel about certain things. But I think that, it's kind of like the pros versus the cons. And I just think, and I don't even think it's that big of a deal. I mean, the response wasn't like, oh my God. It will, yeah. Oh, there you go. And
What?
the pros with a con. And I think at the end of the day, it wasn't that deep, but I think it's important that it's out there, and I think it's great content. I think it's
Yep.
it's pretty cool. And shout out to Billy, though. The promo was just too cool to not roll
Yeah,
it
it's
out.
so good. So good.
And so yeah, all good stuff on the sauna piece real quick, and then we'll finish up the intro so we can actually get into some additional domain talk. But I got to get the sauna at the house. I got to make that part of the routine. There's a place close by called Hot Works, which you go in. It's like the individual sort of like you just book it and go, and you do the yoga inside the hot. I love it.
Wellness here as well. It's really good.
Yeah, and it like, to me it's great. But I always think back whenever I sit in those. I always think about like the how they had the sauna competitions and stuff, and like people legit died. They would turn the shit up to like 250, 200. Whoever could stay in there the longest. And the whole idea was, it was just you talk about like shutting your mind off, but they would have situations where the dudes that did those contests, like, they would be blistering, and because the whole idea was, and the prizes were like a trip to Morocco or like a blender. And it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes, they were it was the Finnish dudes, you know what I mean? Because they like 5 million people, 3 million saunas, like it's in their culture. But some of these dudes were crazy, and
they don't mess around. These dudes, they get pretty crazy. They get pretty crazy.
So, all right. Well, with that, let's keep it moving. To my lower right, we got my boy Josh Reason, aka Bjorn Borg, aka Prince Harry, aka Harry Kane, aka Prince Harry Kane, aka Chicka Slim Shady, aka DNX. It's dark and hell is hot. X gonna give it to you. What's up, man? How you living?
What's up, man? Living good, living great, having a great start to September, and yeah, no complaints.
All right, I love it. All right, well, let's keep it moving. Below me, last but not least, we got my boy Shane Cultra, aka Sugar Shane, aka Honey Shane, aka Mike Rowe, aka Blame It on the Shane, aka House of Shane, aka the Cultra personality, aka the Culture Club, doing it for the culture, in Shane in the membrane, in Shane in the blockchain, chain. What's up, man?
All good. It's we're getting a warm September here too, so haven't put my shirt on in like 8 weeks now. So my wife said I need to start wearing a shirt around the house now.
Oh man, you're like, never. Hey, look, man.
When you're hitting the gym every day and you're seeing those gains, you don't want to cover that shit up. Like,
that's it, domain gain.
I'm starting to hang mirrors where we don't need mirrors. Like,
hey, hey, all good, man, all good. Yeah, look, the weather's been absolutely perfect here in Florida. The last.
Now it's gonna showcase. Look at these dahlias. Like,
oh, look at those dahlias. I had the ones, the big, the whatever.
This is the 14 inch.
I got 6 of them in my elevator right now.
Yeah, look at that.
I got 6 dahlias in my elevator. That's like a rap lyric. You know what I'm saying? That's
like you got an elevator, bro?
That's some shit Drake would say. I got 6 dahlias in my elevator.
You don't have an elevator when you hit 50.
Yeah, what you doing? Get your weight up. Get your weight up.
You could put an elevator in that little outbuilding thing, your office right there, Josh. You know what I'm saying? Just put it back.
If I need an elevator for that, I'm cooked, bro.
I was actually saying today, going up and down the stairs in my house, I'm like, I need one of them chairs. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday was leg day. I'm like, I need the chair where I sit. And like,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. All right. Well, cool, man. Cool. So all good, all good. Well, you know, we haven't done a domain Sherpa review in a couple of weeks. We've had some pretty cool shows. We did the show where we brought Sophia on. Shout out to Sophia. Shout out to the rest of the MediaOptions team. We did the show with Escrow, going over the quarterly report, got into some of that stuff, which was good. And then, you know, had the show last week with Rick, which was awesome. And so big shout out to Rick. And but we haven't done a domain Sherpa review, so we haven't done the domain game in a minute. So let's get into it. And Drew, why don't you go first?
I didn't want to give one more thing. Shout out RobertRedford, who unfortunately passed. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. But truly, in my mind, like RobertRedford was, I think, my favorite actor of all time. You know, he just kind of like embodied that like Kennedy look that kind of defined the generation. And he just was, it just seemed like a really like the type of man that you would like want your son to grow up to be, like polite gentleman, but masculine, capable, intelligent, suave. Like I always, in my mind, it was like, man, if I could be anybody in like Hollywood, it was like Robert Redford. You know, he's like, I really appreciated Robert Redford. So I was sad to see his passing, but 89 years old, it's not a tragedy.
No,
Yeah.
and
It's
big shout out to
sad to see him go. Sad to see him go.
big shout out to the Sundance Kid. You know what I'm saying? And
So
yeah, I
many
mean, I
great
think
movies.
Out
you
of
know,
Africa.
what's
That's the
that?
one.
Good
Out
one.
of Africa. That's the one that I know him for.
All right. You know what? I think if I have to pick a Robert Redford movie, I probably actually I'm gonna go with The Sting. The Sting. If
Sting.
anybody hasn't seen that, it's 1973 classic movie.
Dance Kid, all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and he was in, you know, the was a Spy Game, I think, the one with Brad Pitt. That's pretty awesome. He
The
showed up.
saying for men like him is every man wanted to be him and every woman wanted to be with him.
Yeah.
That's it. Sounds like the guy I want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it is. It's you know, he definitely embodied kind of that old Hollywood, and you know, new Hollywood's kind of a mess. So it's
New Hollywood, you could burn the whole thing down. It's terrible.
Pretty much got Matt
horrible.
Damon.
Everything
Like,
about it horrible.
Matt Damon's our only guy that we like to hang out
Matt
with. He's a good
Damon.
actor, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a few, but it's but he definitely embodied kind of that old school Hollywood where it was still you know, like it still felt pretty
Yeah,
like,
like
sort of special in
him,
that throwback.
Sean Connery.
Newman.
Yeah, Paul
Newman.
Newman, Jack Nicholson. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like,
Nicholson was a cokehead.
oh shit, you just throwing it down. What Jack ever do to you? He's still around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Jack, I fuck with Jack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you
Too
know,
many bumps for me, man. That guy was.
listen, I really appreciate people who have the psychedelic glimmer in their eye. And Jack Nicholson has the psychedelic glimmer.
That was coke, man. That was coke.
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah,
anyway,
man.
all I wanted to just little tribute. Truly, that was one of the very few celebrities painted with a broad stroke that I give a flying shit about whatsoever. I wouldn't care if most of them got hit by buses. But Robert Redford, I think, was really a stand-up dude. Or at least in my, you know, I don't know anything. But
And I think you can talk about him in a way too. It's unpolitical nowadays too. I mean, obviously we had some other crazy stuff happening in these last weeks, a week or so that, you know,
Yeah.
pretty terrible stuff. And, you know, I think it's like, regardless of the political spectrum, no matter where you are, you know, I think we all recognize human life is so valuable and, you know, terrible, terrible stuff. And then everything gets politicized. I think at least with somebody like a Robert Redford, you know,
well, it's like Shane said, everybody
Don't
wants to
fix
be
that.
him and all the women want to get with him. So, you know what I'm saying? That it's hard to be political when everybody wants you. It's like Jordan's, you know what I mean? Jordan's like, look, Republicans, Democrats, Republicans, they all buy sneakers. You feel me? Robert Redford's like, they all want to be me or get with me. So
Yeah.
you don't need to be political.
That's yeah, no, it's 100%, 100%. All right, well, look, let's keep it moving.
Let's go. Domain game, baby.
All right. Well, let's go. What do you mean, domain game, baby? You're up. It's you.
What do you mean?
You're
All right.
first,
Well,
man.
I'm not ready.
Of course not. You know what I'm saying? We have to, I feel you. I wouldn't expect anything else, Um, but
Well, okay. I mean, I have a buy I could use, I suppose.
all right,
There
well,
was something else though I wanted to use. I just don't remember what it was.
anyway, all right. Well, while you do that, but real quick, then let me finish my thought. Obviously, I was kind of mentioning what I was alluding to is the shooting of Charlie Kirk, and I don't want to turn this into kind of any political thing, but I just think it's terrible when you got people celebrating somebody's death, even if you don't agree with their political views, and turning it into a political thing. And I mean, it's just we're in a tough spot. I just like I say on shows a lot of times, like going back to the words of Bill and Ted, and not to make it what is a typically lighthearted, somewhat entertaining show. At least we like to think it is. Be excellent to each other. It's like we have got to at some point stop being about all the things that make us different and focus on the things that make us the same. So anyway.
Yeah.
Well
So
done.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go. I got one. I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with Culet.com to purchase, to buy.
all right. I actually don't know this one.
Culet.
I'm sorry, go ahead. How do you spell it?
Culet.
Oh,
Culet.
oh, okay. Just ET.
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Wait,
Probably a French
Culet?
word, but it's used universally in this.
CULET.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a purchase?
Yep.
Can I phone a friend?
Exactly. This one is,
Yeah,
I
we
don't know
should
what
totally introduce Phone a Friend to DomainSherpa.
Yeah,
That would be hilarious.
it really would, to see like who people would call. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I call Braden. Someone's calling Adam Strong. Somebody's calling
Yeah,
um,
I didn't follow this one, but I
Who would
remember.
be your phone a friend? Who would you call?
on
Uh,
this one.
I probably Josh.
I love that. All right, Culet.com.
Ah,
I mean, I don't know. This
come
is,
on.
I don't know. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna a little back of my phone. It's AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts of the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say something? Because I didn't
Boom.
hear you.
I know
It's like
you're.
hearing it when it's something I don't care about. I just don't hear it.
I
Oh, are you
completely
talking
ignore it.
about the team that lines 5 guys off sides on every play and does a tush push? I know them.
So we ran the tush push. It was like 12% of the plays. They ran it so much. They literally like.
They were lined up 8 yards in front of the ball, and they're like, yeah. Okay.
It's like it's it's a Bill Belichick thing, right? If like if you're not pushing the envelope, man, are you really trying? So
I'm gonna be off here. I'm just
all right,
telling you
here we
right now.
go. Ready?
I don't know
3,
how.
2, 1, flip it. All right, so I'm at 1,500. Josh is at 2,500, and Shane's at 2,800. So all right, we're all kind of in the same sort of
Yeah,
realm.
and I actually don't know.
I think Shane might have got it. I feel like it may have been like 3-ish. I'm not sure.
You look
Yeah.
this shit up.
I had it on my list, and I just remember it being like a cut of a bottom of it.
Right. Who had what?
All right, I had 1,500. Josh had 2,500, and Shane had $2,800.
All right, Shane won.
Shane.
$3,161.
Okay.
And I thought that was a phenomenal purchase. There was a lot of adoption, and the Culet. So I happen to really appreciate and collect some gemstones. And the Culet is this guy right here. It's the point at the bottom of the stone, the part that usually goes into the setting. That's the Culet. It's the most fragile part of a cut gemstone is the Culet, and that's a citrine.
The Culet. Yeah.
Anyway, so it has very wide adoption in different businesses related to jewelry and other related spaces. I think there was even a Culet AI company or something. But anyways, I like the name. I like the meaning. And I thought that was a great purchase.
I think so too. Solid purchase, and congratulations to Shane for picking up the point.
I think
and
that's a
donating it.
30x.
Really?
Yeah,
You think you turn that into a 100K sale, 90K sale?
more. Yeah, I think at least. I think it's a 30 to 50kx,
All right, cool.
30 to
Well,
50x. So
let's get it, man. I love it. So let's get it. All right.
Josh
Shane with the point.
disagrees. Disagree?
I mean, not. I mean, I don't think that it's an easy sell in that range, but I don't disagree. I mean, it's one of those names where it's not got massive usage, but when the right person comes along, it's the kind of name that I feel that you can ask, low six figures for.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's different types of names, right? It's like the names where there's like already like plenty of usage out there, and that kind of helps you determine what the price may be. And then there are other names like this that's short, meaningful, not much usage out there, but if the right buyer does come along, you can ask a pretty substantial sum and sometimes get it.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about Culet.
Cool and Culet. All right, homie. Well, it's up to you, Josh. What do you got? You got to buy? You got to sell?
Like I said, I got quite a lot of sales, but I've told them to everyone.
I was gonna say, I went ahead and wrote Josh's all to the side here, so I could guarantee the win.
That's the downside of the Discord, man. You guys are out there every time you do something, you put it in there.
That doesn't really work, so I have to do a buy. I woke up this morning, I was like, oh shit, I hope I get a sale this morning because everyone knows.
I'm like, I need to go buy something or hope something sells. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll do a buy. I've done plenty of purchasing as well. I got the other day, I got TechPioneer.com.
Okay.
TechPioneer.
Yeah.
TechPioneer. All right.
TechPioneer.com. That doesn't sound like a Josh name. That's like
Have you seen his sales? You don't question them. Just say yes.
It's just it's just a name that I know I haven't said the price to on anyone, so I feel like I can throw it out there.
I actually don't know the price of any of your sales.
Yeah, but Shane does. Shane's up there. Like Shane's on it.
Shane's on it. All right. TechPioneer?
Yeah.
TechPioneer.
Drew loves the name.
It's actually Czech, like Czechoslovakian pioneer.
Czech Pioneer. Yeah.
Drew loves the name.
DK Pioneer. All right. 3, 2, 1. Flip it. Oh, all right. So Drew is at $289. I'm at $1,500. I didn't change it from the last name. And Shane is $1,550. $1,550.
Yeah, it was $1,900.
Oh, Shane basically already.
TechPioneer.com?
Damn, Shane, you picked up the win. Shane already won the domain game for today, man. That's crazy.
This motherfucker's like Culet.com. I don't know.
Bang.
That's okay. I bought it for $3,000. You bought TechPioneer for $2,000?
So here's the thing. I think that you could probably find more usage out there for TechPioneer.com commercially than you can for Culet.com. But
who's the buyer?
Hold on. Let me finish. That doesn't mean that it's a better name. It means I'm just saying that there's probably more buyers for TechPioneer.com than there is for Culet.com. And I'll be asking like $20,000 for TechPioneer.com. You're asking 120K.
Here's the deal. This is actually such a good point that we should just spend a minute on. So I very ineffectively try to communicate this on X to people. People look at these things in a silo. They look at very myopically, and it's like TechPioneer for $2,000. We can evaluate that in two ways. We could say, well, whatever, whatever you think about it in terms of the domain and its potential for selling. But relative to what you expect you're going to sell it for, at best a 10x. And more likely, in my opinion, is a 2 to 3x if it sells, over the coming 5 to 10 years. And a name like Culet, I'm buying it for $3,000. I would say has almost no downside. I can always push that onto somebody else's ledger at basically a neutral price.
Mm.
And I think has, even if I'm very conservative and said it has a 10x, somebody's going to buy this for 25 grand, 50 grand, 25 to 50 grand for a oneword.com that's multiple language, multiple cultures, and is directly intrinsic to luxury product market. We have to evaluate our domain purchases on a relative basis. We cannot look at these things independent, myopically. You can't just look at TechPioneer alone and say, was this a good, you spent $1,900. Was TechPioneer the best place to put it? Definitely not. And I'm not shitting on you or the names, and this has nothing to do with you. This is more just trying to use it as an example to give the audience. You have to look at capital allocation in a relative basis. You have to say, is there somewhere else I could invest $3,000 to get a higher upside? In the case of Culet, in my opinion, very rare. I think it's rare that I can get a name that's a oneword.com, that's multi-language, that I'm not saying this is like a killer freaking one word. No, that's not what I'm saying. But for $3,000, where I think it's extraordinarily asymmetric, I think I have almost no downside. And I think that extremely conservative, I have a 10x. And I think it's well within the realms of possibility that this is a 20 or 30x, maybe a 50. So even if you don't agree with my assessment of either TechPioneer or of Culet, my point is simply to make these purchasing decisions on a relative basis. Evaluate it as, I have a certain amount of money to allocate on any given day, and is this the best place to put it?
Mm.
And I'm guilty myself of getting caught up with like, that's a great little name, and the price is okay, and I'll just buy it because I happen to be in the auctions, I happen to be scrolling through a list of names or whatever it is, and I don't stop and ask myself, am I better off just taking this 10 grand and throwing into Fidelity and buying Bitcoin? Am I better off with this 10 grand, buying some 3-letter.orgs or 3-letter.com? Just always evaluating the various trade-offs, timing, liquidity, upside, right? And so anyways, I don't love that one. Just give me my honest opinion.
Yeah. I think that the last couple sentences that you make are very relevant, good points that I strongly agree with, right? I mean, if I could go back on my career in domain investing and allocate my funds differently, I would probably have a portfolio of 100 names rather than 10,000 names or whatever. Yeah. But in practice,
but you don't have Trump's time machine,
right? Yeah, in practice it's tough. But a name, I think that, do I love a lot of the names that I pay $1,000, $2,000 for? No, not really. Like, if I was like choosing names from like a personal perspective on what I thought were good brands or what I thought would make sense, I would select my names a lot differently. But all of my purchases are nowadays, for the last few years, are like almost 100% data driven, based on like what I see out there. And like, if it falls within like a certain range, I'll typically just buy it. And that particular name just fell within a certain range of various metrics and price points, and so I bought it.
So what do you list it for now?
I think it's listed for $20K.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say here too is a good lesson for new buyers. Auctions are easier for people because it gives them, it's not perfect, but it does give them a sense that there are others that agree that it's a decent name. So when you're buying them off of third party for sale, that puts in a whole new realm because you don't have it. It's just you. It's you, your experience. It's also a great opportunity because a lot of people play that because of the reason I stated before, is it's uncomfortable. It's an area that you don't really have anybody else to tell
true.
you this is a great name or this is a bad name. It's all you. So you have to use your experience. And Josh is playing
No,
more of
true.
that game. So that's going to be a little bit riskier, but that's where he takes advantage of his knowledge. And he's proven this month. If I were to tell people what Josh has proven this month, is he's now leaning on his experience to get out of the I'll participate with you in the auctions. I'm going to actually go over here and play in this pool as well. So I think that's what you have to take of it. Drew, you
Welcome.
could
The
say,
water's warm in this pool. You know what I'm saying? I left them auctions behind a while ago.
no, and the real people are doing that. Real people, everybody is going and trying to find unused names or names sitting there. But I will say, like, if you're at an auction and say, this is a great name, well, nobody else agreed with you at that auction. You were the high bidder. Like, no, and we all passed. We all saw the name, we passed it, and didn't feel the same way that you do. So does that make us lesser investors? No, it means you probably have some information asymmetry that we don't know about that makes that name. You know diamonds, you know people use it. I'd never heard that in my life. I had to look it up. And even when I looked it up, I had no idea why I would care about the bottom of a diamond. So
I think that that's actually a really good point. And if I go through like a few more of my buys here, I actually think that Drew might be disgusted at some of the prices that I pay for some of these buys. No, I'm not even joking. Like just a couple here, like Super.energy, I paid 4 figures for that. BrainwaveAI.com paid $2,600 for that. Eminent.org paid $2,000. Generative.dev, I paid over $3,000 for that name. Like,
yo, what's the name of the donkey that kicked you?
There you go. But like, I think I'm not totally shit at domain investing as well.
You're not. Otherwise, we wouldn't have you on this show as often as we do.
Yeah.
So like, I think there's something to be.
Although it is, we need somebody to laugh at.
Right. Exactly. I think that my point is that it's not always black and white with what you're buying, and some, like, there are areas that we can't all be like super in tune with, but like that goes back to
everything. That goes back to everything. Right?
That goes back to the last couple of points that you were making in terms of capital allocation. Is like, I think that if you're very, very strict with capital allocation, which I'm not, there's probably better buying opportunities out there. But for me, I'm focused on the areas that I'm currently like understanding and feeling like I can exploit in a way that I haven't maybe exploited in the past. And also, just to be clear, I'm like testing some things. There's some risk involved. I'm not 100% sure of all of these things, like buying .devs for $3,000, right? I don't think there are many people out there that are going to do that, but I'm seeing something that gives me a reason to believe that it might be worth a shot. So,
here, I'll throw this in too. The two words are capital allocation, and you've had such great sales. You have more capital to allocate, so you're being a little bit more risky than you were if you didn't have those great sales. Whether you admit it or not, it's the truth. We all do it.
100%. Which is
we all do it.
Thing, but
man, when things are booming and cash flow's coming in, and we're just selling names, I get real loosey goosey with my deployment. I start going in the auctions. And I'm just like, yo, I'm a bit on that, and I'm a bit on that, and I'm a bit on that.
Because it all seems like such good value compared to what you're selling names at retail at, right? So
exactly.
Like, I can't lose on that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's a great point. And I think once you also have, the flow, and you're churning and moving, and, and it's also every time you sell names, it's like you've also got to replenish the pipeline, right? So it's like the idea isn't necessarily to sell them all.
Well, you don't have to, right? That's also a conscious decision, and
but it's what we do.
Strategy.
It's what we do. That's just, as soon as you sell a name, you're looking more than you especially big, when you're flush with cash, you start looking at things you weren't looking at. Like, it's like anything else. You start looking on Zillow, and you don't even need a fucking house. Like, you're like, why am I looking on Zillow? Like, why am I looking at another Porsche? I don't need a car. But when you're flush with cash, you just do things that's money management is the key to all investments, and you do it worse when you're doing well.
Yeah, but I mean, I think also, and we've talked about this plenty of times on the show, where it's like when you're looking at a potential sale of a domain, it's also a matter of like, okay, and I think Braden's brought the point up, and we literally within the last couple of months we talked about this, that should I sell a name for this price? It's like, well, if I can replace it for, less than what I'm about to sell it for, and there's something somewhat comparable, I mean, that also plays into even on the sell side to then continue to generate the cash to continue to, go buy names. But I will say this about Josh and, I mean, Drew's picking on him a little bit, being funny, but
I love it.
Josh is also, when it comes to curation, very few that are as good as you are, or that, will listen to when you hit up Drew and you're like, hey, this is a name you should be looking at. And Drew's like, hey, I just bought a new name, so it's like.
Well, I send all the good names to Drew, and then I take the leftovers. It's part of the hierarchy, right, Drew?
Look, everybody's got to earn their keep, and you're doing a great job.
You got to bring the king a little piece of meat, and then go.
Bring a little piece of meat.
Yeah,
That's it.
hey, nobody, nothing happens in this town without me getting a little piece.
Actually, the truth is that a lot happens in this town, and I don't get my piece of meat. But I think that both of you were spot on. I think the way you're looking at it is spot on. It's and it doesn't matter if it's domains or anything else. But these are just things to be conscious of, and to each his own. I think what Shane said, which is we each have a little bit of information asymmetry in our own way. There's some niche that we know more about, and if you look back at DomainSherpa, I think the one constant that most of the really successful domain investors have said on this show for the last 15 years that has been live is literally like, start out in the field you really, really know, go deep, buy the names that nobody else is hyped to because you happen to have some expertise that nobody else does. That's information asymmetry. Look at the hobbies. Look at the things you're super interested in. Look at the things you do. Look at your side hustles. Look at the other work you do. Look at the prior businesses you've been in, and evaluate what are the names that people have overlooked. Where do you see something mispriced? And that's how you exploit the market. That's how you get alpha.
I've told this story on Sherpa before, but I was fortunate to go have lunch, actually dinner with Stephen Friedman, who was chairman of Goldman Sachs forever. And I jokingly said, what do I need to do to get a job with you? And at the time he wasn't there, but he said, the people I hired because, and I had not heard this word before, was because of information asymmetry. And I acted like I knew what that meant, but I actually didn't. And he told me, the people that I hired were experts in their field. I brought them on to give me information that I could monetize because they knew more about it than anybody. And it was the craziest fields that I bring in. The people I hired had nothing to do with trading, nothing to do with assets, were the weirdest people you've ever met, but they could give me information that I could trade on or monetize that nobody else could give me. And that's who I hire. And if you want to be on my team, bring me something that nobody else knows that you know. And I've never forgotten that. And that's how you make a living in this world.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that even sort of piggybacks the idea that, surround yourself with people smarter than you, right? And in that case, it's surround yourself with people who know more about things than you do, and things that are important and things that ultimately can, deliver gains.
Yeah, and if you tell your kids, just be better at something than somebody else and you'll be fine.
Yeah, hey, you don't have to look, when it comes to outrunning the bear, you don't have to be the fastest.
Yeah,
you just can't be
you
the
have to be
slowest.
faster than somebody. Yeah, no, that's just, to me, you just have to think about that. Is you start somewhere, be really good at it, and then you can expand.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, hey, let's finish up the domain game. Although technically, Shane, you've already got the win. If you've got a name to throw out, let's do it.
I got two that I liked this week that I bought. You might know the first because it might have passed through, but I bought Deadbolt.ai. Came through.
Oh, cool.
I used to own Deadbolt.com. I sold it to Seiger.
I know, that's why this is one of the reasons I bought it, and I'll tell you after. It's so Deadbolt.ai.
All right, let's do it. Hey, shout out to Seiger, by the way.
Did someone in the Discord say, hey, you should sell this to Shane or Seiger, and then it went to you?
Yes,
yeah, I saw that come up, and that's funny.
The funny thing is, I had already purchased it when it came up, so yeah, I just let it flow. I let it flow through because I wasn't going to say anything.
Oh man, can't remember what he was asking for it.
All right, Deadbolt.ai. All right, I'm ready when you guys are. 3, 2, 1. Oh, Josh and I are dead on at 3,000.
Yeah,
Drew's
that
at
was the price.
5,369.
That literally was the price. $3,000.
What, 3?
3 on the money.
Boom. I feel like Josh had insider information.
I
which
didn't know.
Me too. Josh has definitely got insider info.
Well, he
here.
didn't.
That makes
he
my
didn't list it for that
my
either.
win even that much
Josh
more
has got
impressive.
insider info on everything.
No, that's what I'm saying, man. He's like the ultimate insider. And
Yeah, motherfucker, he's in all these little discords. He got like 9 of them. He's up in everything. He knows all the secrets.
And all right, well, cool. So then, like again, that makes my guess even that much more impressive. So I feel like even though I didn't win today,
I bought it
feel
because Seiger's got Deadbolt.com at $850,000. I figure there's a good middle between $3,000 and $850,000 that I can make some cash on.
Yeah. Hey, look.
I mean, Deadbolt AI is not .com, but it also isn't $3,000 versus I mean, there's some wiggle room in there. So.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's
And
really good. I like
I've seen the auctions at AI. That's it went for 1,500, I think, in the spring or in the fall, and things have gone up a little bit since those times. So I just felt it was a good ad.
It's like the ugly. It's
AI
like,
just through the roof, man. Insane volume.
true.
And I did buy. I'll say it. I did buy Foot Race. That was the other one that came up.
It's the best.
Did you guys see footrace.com come up?
Oh, damn, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
I bought that for $2,000. So that was a good.
That's good.
You bought
That's
footrace.com for $2,000?
Yeah, at auction. That was a
That's
good.
awesome.
That was really good in our running category that we're adding. So
but it's an interesting point you make about Deadbolt AI versus Deadbolt.com and how the .com's out there priced at $850K, and now Deadbolt.ai gets to be the ugly friend that's like with the hot girl that, you know what I'm saying? Some dudes are like, I'll just take the low hanging fruit.
Yeah, exactly.
These things are so important, though. I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you think, Drew, but there's a whole thing about you want to check what the price is of other TLDs, whether they're available.
We talked
about that. We talk about that a lot, right? But like when someone, even if like the underlying metrics maybe are not that like amazing, if you know that the owner of the .com is not going to sell that domain for cheap, then the options become more limited.
If you're standing against a room against pretty girls and there's a bunch of really, really ugly people, you got a better shot. So if a name is $1 million or $2 million, that's and you know who owns it, Michael's not going to give it away. But if let's say Deadbolt was, and it's not going to be, but let's say it's at 27,000, that changes the game.
Sure, 100%. Well, and I'll tell you, like, we do it a lot where we'll buy a name based on just a previous sale or a name that we have where it's like, well, we've got the .com, we're going to get the .ai, we're going to get the .net. Braden talks about that some. I mean, Drew, probably once a week is buying a name where he's like, oh, I bought this name because I sold this other similar name, whether it was the .com or like domain, and we sold that name for $1 million, and I just picked this one up for $1,000, and it's the .net version or the .io or org or whatever, or it's some version of it, that kind of thing. All that stuff.
Catch and kill.
Again, information asymmetry, right? And that way you have like some sort of a foundation to give you a sense of like, okay, there's value here. So, leading to a potential.
The more sales I make, the more weird buys I make as well, because I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm onto something here,
Yeah.
Yeah, usually not, but it's okay. It's all a lesson.
Yeah.
The thing is I go on all these tangents too, and I'm only saying this because I've really had some clarity of thought in the last week, as I'm really trying to make a determination of what is my path forward. And I've been flip-flopping for a year and a half now of like, man, maybe I got enough domains. I'm never going to sell them all in my lifetime. And, I don't really need to be buying a lot more names and just deploy it into Bitcoin or deploy it into whatever. And then I'm like, I don't need more names. And then I'll have a phase of like, well, even if I don't need more names or whatever, I really, really enjoy buying names. So I'm just going to buy them. Honestly, I enjoy it. I truly, sincerely, I love the hunt. I love taking the names down. And at some level, that almost matters more than whether or not I'm going to sell it for, whatever. I really, truly enjoy what I do. So there's that. But I
When I told
we're doing a little bit of portfolio analysis. We're trying to improve. Sophia's working on some of this stuff, and I'm just going through. I'm just spending a little bit more time and looking at my names and going through the names. And the truth of the matter is that it's the 80-20 rule. It's 80% of the profits are coming from the really good shit. You know what I mean? It's not the weird shit that I've had a weird random thought about that I said, oh, I'm going to go fucking register this name. And it's like, yeah, every couple of months, I'll go sell one of those names for $5,000 or $25,000. But on a regular basis, we're selling the really good shit. The shit that I said, I didn't just throw a freaking high offer into an auction on. It was something I freaking pursued.
That's right.
With strong intent. And I bought it. And kind of like what we said on the show with Rick, it didn't really matter what I paid. It's just the fact that I got the name.
That's right.
My side of the ledger. And anybody else that wants is going to have to pay. And pay they will. Because when you got something that everybody wants, eventually somebody will pay. And so really that's pretty much where I've landed, is that I want more names, but I really just want more really good shit.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. I want stuff.
Good shit.
Yeah, give me that good shit. Y'all can smoke on your AI crack.
That gushy stuff.
You know what I'm saying? I got that pure cocaine over here.
Give me the funk, sweet, that nasty, that gushy stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I really I think I have an extremely high level of confidence that I think could even be a year from now, but certainly in 2. Y'all are going to be saying Drew is right on the AI thing. And I have an extremely high conviction that the cream of the crop is going to be outperforming the rest of the domain market, maybe by 100x, 2 years out, 3 years out.
Let's play this out real quick. What happens to the AI shit?
Oh, here we go.
Who's the buyer? So there's 2 main points that my premise is based upon. One is, I think that the vast majority of companies that are launching now or have launched over the course of the last 2 years, let's just use the launch of ChatGPT as the day 1 point.
Okay.
The ChatGPT goes live, AI goes mainstream, people go, holy shit. VCs get mandates from all their LPs, go out, find me the next day OpenAI, get money into OpenAI. You have 5 majors, right? You got Anthropic, you got OpenAI, you got Grok, and you got or XAI, you got who else?
Gemini,
right? And so that's it. And then there's a few majors, right? And then there's millions of other companies, and these are the guys that are buying your .ai domain names.
Yeah,
all of those companies, literally. And I truly, I think it's almost all of them. There are some that are like true. They're like the real picks and shovels of the AI industry, and those guys will survive and they'll probably thrive, and that's great. But the consumer-facing apps that are AI, the ones that are the vast majority of the buyers for these .ai domain names, I have yet to identify one that I believe survives beyond the next 2 or 3 years.
Okay, so
they will all, every single product, every single service, it's all just going to be a feature of a larger model. It's all going to follow the bundling of, computer software. It's like somebody used to make money selling you a calculator app. Somebody used to make money selling you a calendar app. And then they got bundled into Microsoft, Office. And then they got bundled into the Apple operating system. All of these things, even look at software as a service. You had this guy launched and he had $10,000 ARR, and then sold to another company and he became a product or a feature. And then this guy launched, he's got 50,000, gone, right?
Yeah.
And then we were 3 to 5 years into the software as a service boom. And then the bigger company said, why am I buying these schmucks? I'm just going to build the feature myself. And that's where we're at.
Yeah.
No reason for these companies to exist. Once I've got my personal AI agent, so I'm going to have my Betty AI, or I'm going to have my Daphne, or whatever the hell it is. I'm going to have my personal AI. It's going to probably be on a piece of hardware. Maybe it's on like a a Mac Mini, right? Maybe I got my Mac Mini on my desk. I've programmed that Mac Mini with a local version of an LLM. I've picked one of those top fives. I've got my local version of my Betty AI type of thing on this Mac Mini, which in my opinion should be actually disconnected from the internet and operating independently. But that's neither here nor there. When I've got that and I've got my subscription to whatever your preferred LLM is, whether that's Grok or OpenAI or what have you, Claude, maybe you've got all of them. Maybe you use each one for different reasons if you're sophisticated. But once you've got those two things, your large LLM and your super specific personalized AI assistant, and maybe you've even got a fucking home robot, okay? An Optimus. But once you've got 2 or 3 of these things, there is absolutely no reason to have any of these other tools. They are all just a subset. They are all using the larger LLMs. They are all just basically consolidating the data to make it a little faster. They're doing stupid little things that have marginal benefit and marginal cost. And they will all 100% become a feature set of a larger business.
Can I
I don't
quickly-
have
can
nobody.
I
I've spoken to the
interject?
smartest freaking people in AI, the smartest people in business,
Yeah.
and the smartest people in domains, low bar.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
nobody has given me a single argument to make me change my mind.
yeah.
So
Can I-
that's the first point.
Can I just quickly on that point? Is that not like a fairly bearish outlook just on domains, like starter domains in general, though? Because I know that you're very much focused on like the high level of the market, but that's this.
And so I think it's
hypothesis is
so
not-
interesting and telling that you're asking that question exactly the way that you're asking it, because what it tells me is that you're also, which we knew, and I've said this just mentioned, I'm not being critical. I'm really making an observation. You are super myopic and dialed in and thinking that this whole AI boom and .ai and selling domain names only to AI companies, that this is the whole market. And it's not.
No. Wait,
And
that's
so
not what I
what's
said.
going to
That's
happen
not
is
what I
we've
said.
got this
Hold on.
flurry of
That's not
investment.
what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you're talking about the entire ecosystem of startups basically being like funneling into larger companies. So like, I'm not talking
No,
about
that's
it.
not what I'm saying. I'm saying
well-
AI. I'm saying AI companies.
Well, a lot of companies are going to continue to exist outside of that. So like,
Pause. We started this conversation on the premise that I said that
yeah, but I get it, but my point is that it's applicable to all domains that are outside of the ones that are owned by
no, because
OpenAI.
that paradigm of every product and service in AI becoming a feature set of a larger model, business, or service, that paradigm doesn't
The same
exist
as
in most other
applicable to
markets.
like a mid-tier, like
You're
I
gonna
mean,
see, huh?
But there will always be companies that take that and do something unique and focused, right? Like headshots.ai. You can get a headshot all day using AI. But headshots.ai, and those headshots kill. They're printing money, and they probably will, not as much as they are now. But people still go to headshots, even though we can go to Gemini and get those headshots.
Yeah. But ask yourself in 18 months, 24 months, if that's still true. Because if you actually look back at the history of what happens, that's not what happens. People don't
and I
still go to
agree with you,
headshots
but that
AI.
doesn't mean I can't take advantage now. Like nothing lasts
No,
forever.
I agree. But again, that's just a different perspective. That's a different way of investing.
Yeah.
My whole point, the whole premise that I've been trying to explain to people, apparently ineffectively, is that you are playing a game of musical chairs in this .ai market. You have high renewal costs. You're paying high entrance fees. Your margin on the upside is limited compared to other markets. And because the prices at wholesale have gone so high, and for that reason, you're playing a game of hot potato. And when the music stops, there's going to be a lot of people holding the bags. And there's not going to be a large pool of buyers for these because they're all going to suddenly be gone.
Yeah.
They're literally not getting their next round of investment.
Now.
Anybody that doesn't hit, let's say, escape velocity in the next 12 months, they're freaking dead. dead. Forget about them. They do not exist. And those people have already got a domain. So who's buying your domain 12 months from now? That's my point, is there's a limited window in which this all makes sense. And I think that window is slamming shut very, very quickly. And so,
But it doesn't shut completely is the point. It doesn't completely
so
shut.
what does that mean?
Look,
We're not going to agree because obviously nobody agrees with me on this.
but we do. But you're extremely like.
To me, it's crystal clear.
Well, yeah, but it's not black and white completely. Like there will be more companies that evolve, like come up. Will it be
Sure, some? But again, I'm not trying to make a business on the exceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but my point is,
bad way to go about this.
That effect is not just across .ai names, right? There is a massive boom in funding for AI related companies, and they're not all using .ai domains, and it does funnel into various different names that are not necessarily super premium, right? And as that tapers off, the domain market as a whole will taper off too. But I
disagree. I actually think it's the exact opposite. So I think that with the boom of AI, as AI consolidates into 10 companies, and those things become incredibly freaking powerful as tools to be utilized by other businesses in real industries, you're going to see massive amounts of efficiency, massive amounts of innovation. You're going to see enormous innovation over the next 3 years in energy, in material science, in biotech, in just biology in general, in transportation, across every major field that really matters. The stuff that really makes we've been so focused on software for 20 years. The stuff that really makes the world turn, the stuff that really makes our species, let's say, leveraged, that gives our species leverage in the physical universe that we live in. Those things are going to make massive advancements. They've been basically stalled in varying fields, let's say somewhere between 30 and 70 years. Okay. Physics, health, all of these things. Very little true material leap and bound progress, except in small niches, for 30 to 70 years. And I think we're about to see that accelerate tremendously. And that's going to create real business creation in various fields that are not AI. They don't need a .ai domain name. In fact, they don't want one. And the AI is going to make these companies possible and make them strong and make them efficient and make them have higher margins than traditional businesses have had in the past, because instead of having 9% margin with a 2 million person headcount, they can have a 70% headcount and a 68% margin or a 93% margin. And that's the future of business. And my opinion. And
I agree.
I
agree with that.
Domain names become that true only moat that matters. And let's say brand more broadly. And domain names are your digital brand. And in that world, most business is happening in the digital world. And therefore, your domain name is your brand. Whatever your domain is, that's your brand. And the only person that gets to say their brand without a domain extension on it is the one that owns the .com. Period. Full stop. End of story. There's absolutely nothing anybody's going to tell me that is going to change my mind about that. Nothing. I've thought about this hours and hours and hours every single day for years. There's nothing anybody's going to do to change my mind.
I agree with you.
That's how it's going to happen.
I don't think anybody disagrees with that.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're going to see, like, again, the other thing everybody, I've said this a million times, is nothing new, but the only reason anybody's buying your stupid .ai domain name is because the VCs there's so much freaking noise. They're just trying to look for signal. And what they don't get is that a .ai domain name is more noise. It's not signal. And so, I look at the signal, and the signal is the MIT report on AI. 95% of all deployments of AI within real businesses, not I made a headshot app. No, taking headshot app or whatever AI tool somebody created, deploying it into a real enterprise, and then what are the efficiencies? What are the gains? How do we justify the investment? 95% failed across every single metric of, was this beneficial? Did this save us money? Did this create efficiencies? Did this improve headcount? Did this improve? 95% failure rate. And what does that tell you? It tells you that the VCs have no freaking clue what they're doing. And again, I'm not even trying to be negative to VCs. How should they? There's a bazillion new companies launching. They all have a graph that went up and to the right, and nobody knows where this space is going. And so what do? They say, all right, we need signal. And so they see, oh, great, domain name .ai. Okay, they're doing something. Boom, you get a chat. You get a chat. You get a chat. And then as soon as they start seeing that the .ai domain name is just more noise and it's not signal, it stops being a factor in the financing, okay? Even if it decreases as a factor. There's just no reason for it. And so the only reason that any of these companies are spending the money that they are to get a .ai domain name is purely because of the VCs throwing checks at anything they called signal in the AI market in order to try and, find the wheat from the chaff. And in my opinion, the AI names, I think that what I've just said is not opinion. I think that's fact. And the part that's opinion is that I think that the AI domain names are noise and not signal. Okay. And I think that the VCs are waking up to that and will continue to wake up to that over the coming 6-12 months. And that will basically be all she wrote. Now, it's not to say AI domains are going anywhere. They serve a purpose. But I'm talking to the investor. Why would you overpay for a .ai domain name that has a shorter timeline than a .com in which it likely is to be deployed and sold? That's my point. And I don't know why nobody gets that point. To me, it's crystal clear. I don't really care because I think I'm buying great names at below market prices where I haven't been able to do so for years, 3-4 years. I felt like I was priced out in most cases. So while everybody else is focused on overpaying for .ai domains and, .now and .dev and all this bullshit, I'm very happy continuing to just buy great .coms. Every .com I buy, not every, there's exceptions, but every .com that I actually throw any real money at, I think about, is this a name I'm willing to hold 10 years, 20 years? And I don't think that there's a handful of .ai domain names that you can look at and truly say to yourself, I'm comfortable paying this price and holding on to it for the next 20 years.
I agree with you, by the way. I just want to say that I agree with everything you say. The only thing that we differ on in the opinion is that I think that there is going to continue to be quite a large number of companies, an investable amount from my perspective, that will be willing to drop 40-50 grand on a .ai domain for longer than the next 6 to 12 months. That's the only, I guess, like the rest of it, everything you're saying, I agree with it. Again, I don't necessarily think it's opinion. I think it's more fact, right? And like from a long-term time horizon, put your money in .com. It's a lot safer, right? It's a lot safer.
I talk my own bag. It's like,
I agree with
.com. It's everybody's bag.
Right.
So the point is just like,
it's not debatable. It's not debatable.
It's just comes back to what we said before. It's about capital allocation. And, I think in every market, Shane can speak to this more intelligently than I can, but as far as I know, in every financial market that exists, the thing people do worst is price risk. They don't know how to price or account for risk. And so they look at things and they go apples to apples. You spent $2,000 on this .ai, you spent $3,000 on this .com. $2,000 versus $3,000. Well,
that's the thing about stocks is they actually show you the stocks. You get to see it priced in. I mean, it's literally math. It shows you the risk of of your betas and your thetas and all the stuff, the price adjustments. You can see that. Domains, we don't have that. People don't see it. But I'll make my only point is how I've done things. What you say is exactly how I approach it. I'm a brand person, right? People buy keywords. And it's the keyword. When a company thinks of a brand, the first thing they do is the name, right? They don't put a com on it. That obviously is where they come to. So I'm always thinking about the keyword. The .com has the ultimate value. The other ones have a percentage of that value, and that is going to change with time. You just have to understand in your mind what is an AI moved up recently, right? So it was a certain percentage, and over the last year, it's moved up quite a bit. You're saying that's going to move right back down. So people have to understand what is a .io. We wrote a .io off, right? Like Josh, like 6 months ago, we were saying how .io might be dead, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, bam,
Right.
it's hitting again.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah.
percentages went up a little bit. XYZ, it was hot. It was dead. Then it got hot. Then it went dead. And now we're seeing
staying here.
crypto
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah,
those
XYZ
percentages
has
have
actually
gone.
seemed to be making a rebound. I
So
don't-
those percent, if you look at my
I just
chart,
sold one
you're
of my
going to see the
XYZ.
percentage.
It's gotten so
changing.
toxic that I don't even talk about XYZ anymore, but it's funny because I've just made this whole rant about, .com is, but I did buy like 100 or 150, at launch, like literally day one that XYZ launched, I got like 100, 150, mostly like first names and then really top keywords,
How are you doing?
I have to say, I really, I will. I just want to. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Love me, hate me, say whatever you want. I clearly don't care. But I have personally sold, I think, 3 or 4 .xyz's in the 6 figures, and I have sold countless in the 5 figures.
Yeah.
Countless. And the only reason I don't buy more is I really think it's stupid. And I love Daniel. I really do. I have a deep appreciation for Daniel. I think, whatever, leave it at that. But I think it's stupid. This variable pricing, you get a domain, you have no idea what the freaking renewal is. You got to go. That's just stupid. I want to know upfront what I'm getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I hate variable pricing. I think that's just
.co
no
pricing.
place
.co
in the game.
pricing got it right. .co has all the same renewals, but they had some different tiers on the registration costs.
Yep, and that's fine.
I will say this. So when you talk about like a .xyz and a .io, right, and how they differ to a .ai, right? .ai is descriptive, and I think that that's part of the reason why you're saying that you see them falling off when people don't want to include AI in their brand because.
To be fair, though, if I was buying
XYZ
XYZs at the AI prices, I wouldn't buy a single one. I would not own one. I bought these.
Okay,
for
but I just let me
$5.
let me finish the point. Let me just finish the point because I do know that you have purchased .co's, .xyz's, and .io than that, right? But like for a .xyz and a .io, I guess like those don't have they're not the same as .ai because they're not descriptive. Like XYZ and .io essentially mean nothing, and
which is why I like them.
Which is why that you see them. I guess you see them holding more value in the future than .ai. Is that fair to say?
No, and it's interesting. I think that's exactly the point people miss from my perspective. So, if .ai was 2017-18 prices, I'd be telling people, hell yeah, stuff your account with .ai domain names, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the case. I have to pay what I consider to be like a low end user price to get a good .ai domain.
Right.
And so in that world, that's a terrible investment to me.
Okay.
So again, I'm not saying these are bad domains. I'm saying these are bad investments at that
so
price.
if you're able
everything
to
is relative to the price. Everything is relative to the price.
Right.
Everything is relative to the price.
Again, there's going to be
I'm buying XYZ at reg fee. I'm buying .co's for usually I buy them in bulk, and I'll buy them for $250 to $750 each. Okay. And in most cases, I believe that I'm buying those with an absolute guaranteed, I can do a 2-3x to another domain investor, right? And so again, it's all just relative to
So there'd be hundreds of people listening that's saying, okay, so what's too much? Like, what's too much? What's not enough? Like, so like, if someone's going out and they find a good one word,
I got one for you. I bought peach.xyz regular renewal $6,000.
Right. So
High
if someone was able to buy peach.ai, for example, for $6,000, would you say that would be a good buy?
I would say it's probably a good buy. It's probably a good buy.
I think that would definitely be a good buy. Here's what I think is interesting.
I know it would as well, relative to like what the costs are today. But But like people are going to be thinking to themselves, what is a good buy then? Like, I understand that you're saying that the domain, like the domain, like within a certain range, it does make
Look,
sense.
this is
What is
the
the
same
range?
problem in every market. Everybody wants to go where it's hot, right? So, you know,
Give me your percentage for each
Bored
one.
Apes, when Bored Apes were trading at 300 ETH floor, everybody in the world, I have clients that are like the most conservative. These guys are, literally the last person on earth that you would ever think of hearing the word Bored Ape Yacht Club come out of their freaking mouth. And they're calling me up like, oh, I think I might need to get one of these apes.
Yeah.
And right. And so when everything's hot, everybody wants to get in. And then people ask the same question. What's a good deal? Is 300 still a good deal? Well, it is if you think it's going to 1 million, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that AI has peaked, or maybe the prices go up. Even if they double from here, I don't think it's a good investment as a domain investor, because at current prices, of course there are exceptions, and there are exceptional investors. The James Booths, the Rob Calfan, yourself. There are people that have ninja abilities to still get great deals and identify unique opportunities. But for the most part, if you're in there, you're participating in auctions, you're buying these in auctions, you're buying into public platforms, you're not sniping them and getting great deals off somebody that just didn't have a clue. Then this is not a good investment, because
I think that's
double at best.
Okay,
and you got 24 months to make it. And if you don't, you're sitting on a liability.
Well, I think that's a very important point, and I think that's kind of like, also the way I look at it. We've reached a certain, maybe, is it a fever pitch? It's how you believe the names where they are, right? Do you think they're going to continue to appreciate in value? And then, like we say on the show all the time, we say it on the show probably every time, you make money on the buy, not on the sell. So if you have an opportunity to still acquire, and this goes to the point you were making, Josh, about Peach.ai, if you can get Peach.ai for $5,000 right now today, right? You absolutely buy it, because you can go and probably flip that pretty quickly for 50, So it's like, and by pretty quickly, it might take a few months, but that's like realistically, you can 10x that without taking on a lot of risk, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But if you anticipate that the market for AIs, which now we see OneWord.ai selling for 100.
Who cares about that statement? Because you can't get Peach.ai for $5,000.
No,
Well,
but it's the same.
That's not quite true. You can get not Peach.ai specifically, but you can get great asymmetric deals in .ai. You can.
Yeah,
You
and this is
cannot
okay.
get
And hold on,
an animal, a proper noun.
well, hold on.
You can't.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
$50,000 at
Hold on, Drew.
wholesale.
Hold on. But this is the other thing I was going to say. I think it's interesting when you look at the way the .ai has evolved, right? And if it's currently, a lot of the good names were already sort of acquired by folks that are domain investors versus end users. One of the things that's very interesting about .com, because it's sort of the original, right? There were opportunities to get names from people that didn't realize the value that they had, right? You talk about asymmetric information and you talk about opportunity. .coms, because they were registered by people that created businesses and all those kinds of things. Is there a dynamic where .ai, because it was very investor driven from the beginning, it means it's harder now to snipe those names, to pull an Andy and a James Booth and to go find somebody's grandma who has access to the name, which means it's harder to go get the names at the kind of prices that you need to go get them at in order to give you the big returns that justify the acquisition.
It is.
Oh, man, that was a great way of saying what I've been trying to say for basically, I don't know, a year now?
Hey, man.
Well, you've definitely been saying it for an hour on this show. So let's go ahead and keep it moving. But that was great dialogue.
MediaOptions is the industry's leading domain broker, specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, MediaOptions offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. MediaOptions believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
Let's take 15 minutes, go over the NameJetGonnaJet list, and then we're going to wrap up today's show. But Yeah, look, great domain talk. That's what people are tuning in for. They're tuning in for it. And it's yeah, I mean, look, it still remains to be the same thing. If you can get a domain at a good price that you have confidence that you can then go sell for a lot more, you take advantage of that opportunity regardless of extension. But I do think that a lot of what everybody's saying, there's a lot more, again, commonality in what you guys are saying. It's just, I think, Drew, you are probably the most bearish maybe on how long the prices are going to remain as they are for .ai domains.
I don't think people realize what funding cycles look like, and that these things exist, and that they matter, and that we're in the final innings of one. And when that turns over, your freaking party's over. And I feel bad for people, because I see really smart, good people that have come into the industry in the last years, and they're making a difference for themselves and their families, and and this is what I built this show for since I bought it from Siger, was literally to grow the freaking pie. That's what I've been saying. And
You guys are doing the Lord's work, dude.
I hope everybody that buys domain makes a shit ton of money. I truly believe that there is an unbelievable amount of money to be made out there, and I certainly can't make it all. So I really don't care. I wish everybody well, mostly everybody. But what for me, it's crystal clear. I feel like I'm just watching a movie in slow motion.
Well, let's see. I mean, the other thing I'll say too is, look, people were registering 3-character .ais as of.
Oh man, I just saw it the other day. It was like a flashback. I got traumatized. It was like I saw the tweet on Twitter. It said there are only 1,700 3-letter .ai domain names left.
That was Leo.
And go get them now before they're all gone, right? And then the next day, boom, they're all gone.
I don't think he said that, but.
And then I saw some other schmuck say,
"Hey, that's reach though, to be able to get that kind of activity off of your tweet."
This is the nail in the coffin. Somebody posted, "I will buy any 3-letter .ai domain name for $999." I saw that tweet. I slammed my phone down. I said, "Motherfucker, I'm right." Oh, that was it. I'm telling you, mark my words, that was the moment when I became right. And
but if it was $10 a year,
big old portfolios of .a domains at $200 a year pop renewal fees, y'all gonna be in a world of hurt. And I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna buy up all your shit for pennies on the dollar, and I'll probably not buy most of your shit because it's shit. But
if those were $10 renewals, that'd be a different question, right?
They're not.
No, I know they're not.
If I could buy Peach.ai for $500 or $5,000 and it was a $10 renewal.
No, but that's a big part. That's a big part of your statement, is the high carrying cost. That's an important part of it.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Huge important. Yeah.
100%. Same thing to look at XYZ. I bought these when they were standard renewals, when every XYZ had the same renewal. And there was no talk about, we're going to have randomized bullshit.
Well, I mean, when I'm looking at
XYZ, the moment they did that, I never bought another XYZ.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, Shane. That's one of the first things we ask when we're dealing with XYZs is like, what's the renewal look like?
I mean, the value of the domain name goes way up if it's standard renewal versus 627. Way up.
Conversely, it drops a lot.
Some idiot some idiot bought X.XYZ in the first place, right? And then that same idiot realized that he was sitting on the liability and let it expire. And now it's on a GoDaddy auction. And it's like $500. And I'm laughing because I'm like, or 12, whatever the price, $1,000. It's a very little money. And I laugh because it's some idiot who thinks I'm going to get a great deal on X.XYZ, but it's a $63,000 renewal fee. 63 grand, not 1 year, but every year. And so like X.XYZ is like, it's like having a really bad ex-wife. It's like there's nothing positive about it. You know what I'm saying? That bitch can be
crashing. I told my wife it's crashing a Model Y.
Your ex-wife was the hottest girl in high school. And so X.XYZ, man, that shit's sexy. But once you marry it, you are fucked. You're fucked.
And here's the thing about something like that, and this is the last point, and then let's get into the NameJet list. But yeah, because at a renewal rate like that, not only is your carrying cost absolutely crippling, and obviously there it's just so insane, but who's going to then, what end user is going to be like, oh yeah, I'm in on paying $60-some thousand for me? I mean, you at that point, there's like, so not only is your carrying cost.
You're trying to find like
It's literally priced for Elon. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Yeah,
like,
and
and
you know what? You try.
that's crazy that we're doing that
It's
at the
kind of shitty.
registry.
You just like you're like, yeah, no, you can't. You know, you better have that shit at GoDaddy because you better hope it's just a push. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You sell that to somebody, it's like, I hope this is just a push and they don't need to buy a transfer. You know what I
Put
mean?
that shit on spaceship all day.
That's right.
If you got a premium renewal, you got a shit domain. It's kind of premium renewals work like a bond. You know what I'm saying? The higher the coupon, the lower the price. The higher the price, the lower the coupon. And you know, it works the same way. The higher the renewal fee, the lower the value of the domain. The higher the value of the domain, the lower the renewal fee.
Show me on the chart, Mr. Rosner, where the renewal touched you.
Exactly. All right. Hey, look, guys, we got to keep this moving. It's going to be a 2-hour show. All right. We're going to slide into NameJetGonnaJet. That's where we look at a list of domains coming up for auction on NameJet. You can go to the site and you can go to the show page for this particular episode. You can download the spreadsheet. One of the other things, you know, that they're now including on NameJet, which I'm now putting into the sheet, is the age of the domain. And just kind of interesting.
And they're old as hell on NameJet. If you notice it,
I mean, if you look at every one, the youngest one is 22 years old. You know what I'm saying?
That's once they started putting it on there, you know, I'm doing.
No, if it ain't 30 years plus, I ain't even interested.
Well,
feel me?
There's a few
I don't
here.
like. I go in the GoDaddy auctions, for example, and the first thing all y'all are in here, you're like, ooh, ooh, this thing. I get in there and I'm like, boom, show me the oldest names. And then I get up in there and I start buying all the shit that y'all wouldn't even look at. But that's just 32 years old, 34 years old, 33 years old, 31 years old. You know what I'm saying? A 30-year-old is a youngin' for me. And so, but you know why? Because those freaking names have been stuck in a network solutions portfolio or a GoDaddy portfolio. They've never seen the light of day in 15 years. The guy that started the company in 1982 fucking died in 2004. And the freaking name is just on auto renewal till his credit card expired. And so I love these things. I just bought Excalib.com. Like Excalibur, but it was a shortened version of Excalib because Excalibur had been registered a couple months earlier. And that name's like 1992. You know what I mean? Like, fucking great. It was one of the first software companies on earth or on the internet. Right? I got what was the other one I just got? I just got another great one that was like 34 years old. Anyways, that's my favorite thing to do in these auctions. The one in particular GoDaddy is sort by age. I just gave away my favorite trick. I wish I hadn't said that because I really did. Nobody does that. Nobody looks at that shit. I don't know why.
Well, I do now at NameJet because they put it up there.
Yeah, it's on the list. You know what I'm saying? It's included in the data. So yeah, use that.
People don't sort by it. At least I don't think so.
They couldn't until recently.
They're really
got added.
most of these are very uncompetitive. I ended up winning these at very low prices, very old names.
NameJet is value. I mean, honestly, things do. It's one of the few places that things sneak through. And CETO 3-letter CETO auctions. Like, I don't know why 3-letter CETOs, but they constantly go under what I think they should.
Yeah.
Because okay, real quick. Can we talk about one name real quick? Because there's 1 hour left. The auction will be long over when this thing gets published. And I've been the high bidder for days. Somebody came in and started messing me up today. And I had a high proxy, and now they've outbid me, and I'm really on the fence. The name is grants.org. Grants.org. It's at 31,500 on GoDaddy right now. I was the high bidder. I got outbid. And I'm really on the fence about whether to go higher. This feels like a high price, but
it would be one of the very few names where .org is more powerful than
better than the .com.
Yeah. And people love free money. Grants.
People love, and nothing in the world people like more than free money.
Can't give you much advice on that one, man. Like, to me, that feels high, but you know that kind of exactmatch.org market better than anyone. So,
well, the biggest problem is it's right at a good, like, that is the number.
That's it. That's my problem. It's like that was my problem. My proxy was 28. So it's like, I'm right there. It was like,
If
I
you
always
think
tell
that-
everybody
you think that that's a name that there's not going to come up, like you're not going to be able to see comparable names like that come up in the next 10 years, then fucking spend the extra 5K, dude.
I don't think I'm going to be able to see comparable names come up. I think that that's an excellent observation. I don't think that I can buy another name like grants.org. Somebody led a serious portfolio because there was like leans.org. There was some really big keyword.orgs that expired all around the same time. But grants is really a special one. The problem is again, it's that capital allocation. Is that the best place for me to drop 35, 40 grand
No.
right now?
Probably not. But like at the same time, like here's the thing: at the same time, for you, I don't think that should be your primary.
no, 5 grand, 10 grand is not going to make a huge difference because you'll come back to it and you'll just have a story. You won't have a domain if you don't.
Yeah, I think that the domain itself for you is more valuable than whatever you have to overpay to get it.
Yep, I agree. As long as there's not the guy on the other side saying the same thing and it crosses 50.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody else seems to want this thing pretty bad. It's
Yeah.
probably pretty.
Nah.
Well, that's the problem. It is, and it very. Where is it at? You said I didn't.
31.5.
No, but I mean, what auction house?
GoDaddy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The problem is, like, you get drop catch, and end users seem to come over to that side quite a bit. You ever notice that? Like,
Yeah, it's wild. Well, you know why? Because they do the smart thing, which is they point the domain directly to the auction.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All these other places, I've never understood. Like, why wouldn't you just redirect the domain to the auction? Like, is the incremental marginal parking revenue?
I think
making
GoDaddy started that.
like-
Let me see. I think GoDaddy started doing that.
I don't think so. I think you still have to like click up at the top. and
No,
then-
it still just says get this domain. So sometimes it used to say at auction in the little black button. But
no, Network Solutions would say this domain name is in an auction or whatever.
yeah,
And then it would redirect you to Network Solutions and then redirect you from there back to NameJet.
such a
But-
simple thing. Like anybody who has a name up for auction, it doesn't matter if it's an auction house or a personal user, for it to not go to the auction is like number one thing you do. It's just such basics.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, no,
All
it,
right.
it,
All right, let's
Uh,
go. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, speaking of auctions, let's go through the auction list. Josh, let's start with you and let us know what you like and what you don't like.
Sure. I really like EmpireGroup.com. That one stands out to me as a name that I would like to put in my portfolio.
Mhm.
These group.com names seem to be going pretty high recently. So I don't think that I would be able to bid high enough to put it to acquire it. But I would probably, I think that for me personally, I'd probably pay up to about $2,000, depending on a few things. Like I might want to like do a little bit more research, and I might go a little higher. But unfortunately,
Well, what do you think? What would you ultimately be willing to pay to snag it?
to snag it? Like I would want to have a look a little bit more at like usage and how long it's been off the market, like that kind of thing. Like, but if I saw that for $2,000, I would probably buy it. Let me just
Okay.
see.
Cool. By the way, I said,
See, like if I do a little bit more research, like that shit's hot. Like I would probably pay $5,000, maybe.
yeah, Empire has too many use cases for it to be under $5,000. To be honest.
Yeah, like I would probably pay $5,000 to see it, but like now looking at it, that shit's probably gonna go to 10.
By talking about it, you've definitely priced yourself out. And the reason I said snag was because I was texting with Rob from Snagged, and he said to say snag. So now he owes us some sponsorship money. There you go, Rob. The invoice is on its way.
I was wondering why you were being a cuck.
What do you mean? Just saying the word snag, and like, what do you mean? Like, is the use of that itself a cuckish word, Drew?
It is when one of your competitors, friendly or not, is
He's a Sherpa now, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna send him. Don't worry, we're gonna send him the bill. You see that, Rob? It's coming. So it cuts both ways, bruh. All right, continue. So
okay.
No, you don't have to keep hyping up a name that you don't want people to bid against you on. I get it, man. It's all good. Keep it,
No. So another
What's
one.
what's
Another one.
Jay-Z? What's Jay-Z's line? Oh no, I can't say it. Never mind.
All right. I like. What? How would you pronounce this? Elico,
Elico or Elico or
Yeah, I like that name a lot. That again is like a name that I would pay like right in that like $4 or $5 grand range. Might actually be acquirable in that range. That one. So I like that. Like mainly because like it's a short like 5-word brandable, like pronounceable, but also like it could be like Eli Company. You know, I just like it.
Yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
name.
Oh,
One more.
sure.
You know what's interesting to me? I wonder, like, I guess things changed in regards to like PPC again recently. Like, and just like traffic in general is less valuable than even that it was this time last year.
Mhm.
But you got to think that Seex.com must get some pretty insane traffic. I don't know how valuable that would be, but I would love to kind of like know that with someone who's like an expert in that area.
Mhm.
Like as a brand, I don't really care for it that much. Like, but I would be totally interested to see how
I
much.
love it. I love that's my favorite name by far. Not even close for so many reasons.
So Seex.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, talk about it then.
I mean, number one is just look. If there was a single thing that I would say is the absolute unequivocal highest coefficient indication of a domain name's proclivity to sell to an end user for a high price is how much freaking traffic does the domain have. Okay, I can't even explain to you why, other than what I believe, which is that it's somehow in parallel to human behavior, we the names that people have a tendency to type in are the same things that they have a tendency to name their companies for, are the same thing. I don't know. I think it's just like some of these things are just magnetic in many ways that attract us through various aspects of our human psychology and behavior. But Seex.com for sure has a bunch of traffic and also has multiple ways of looking at that name, evaluating that name for multiple different applications. It could be Swedish exchange, SE for Sweden, EX for exchange. It can be see everything, like CS, see everything, or see nothing, or see whatever you want X to stand for. And then it can just be a typo of SAS. And so this is a phenomenal domain name, in my opinion. For all of those reasons. And it's not because, oh, wow, well, it's the best brand in the world. No, it's because on a relative basis, depending on what it goes for, you've got multiple avenues to find success and probably limited downside. You're going to bid in an auction. There's going to be other people that want it. And so probably your downside is whatever the last guy is that you outbid. Right. So maybe a few guys behind Matt, right? But it's not, so I think I love these types of names. But
How
it
much
might
you
get out of
think they're
control and beyond, a fair price.
Yeah, what's a fair price for that?
I'd have to dig in and try to come up with some assessment of what I think the actual traffic looks like. But let's say maybe the traffic's not as high as I thought. It's got a 12.7 million Alexa. The overture is only 160. So it's definitely got traffic, but it's probably not crazy. It probably has a lot less traffic than I think we were thinking.
Really? That seems like such a like easy typo, no?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
I bet SEXX has a million times more typo traffic than SEEX.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. I think interesting points. All right, Shane, what about you, man? What you like? What don't you like?
Yeah, I like different names on here. I like Arcon, and I'll kind of explain how I went through it. When I thought Arcon, I think of king, like in our fraternity, the president's called the Archon. So that's the first thing that came to mind is that means king. But then I realized there's no H.
Look at that. Look at that asymmetric information right there.
Yeah. So I looked up and I thought, okay, well, this doesn't have an H in it, so that's just kind of a typo. Then you go look at Crunchbase and you go look at the sites. There's tons of companies named Arcon without the H. I mean, there's just as many or more with the H, but there was way more usage than I ever imagined on Arcon. So that's a really solid name, and it's 32 years old, hasn't seen the light of day like we talked about earlier. So I think Arcon,
oldest name on the list. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's if you just look at all the people who use it, that depending on what it sells for, there's going to be a lot of people that would have been waiting to have that name.
That's an insane name.
Yeah, so that one's solid. And Tesoro, we think the energy company, but if you look, that's the first thing that came to mind for me is that, that's a defunct, I don't know, it's been 12 years or whatever since they're defunct, but there's 1,000 companies named Tesoro that aren't energy, that are doing other things. So
because and then that name I'm a big fan of. I mean, it means treasure, right, in Italian and Spanish, and it's
huge.
like
and
there's so many. That's why. Well, when I first saw it with the Esteban appraisal, now the Esteban, take it for a grain of salt, but it is algorithmically driven based on traffic and some other things, right? So when I saw that, I was like, that's pretty high. But then you do some digging, and it's like, now, would you like Tesoro over Arcon? If you could have either one, which one do you take?
I think Arcon, to me, I mean, I would double down on how many people actually are using the name in their brands. But I think it's pretty close. There's way more on both of them than I thought. So to me, they're almost equal in value, to be honest.
Both pretty awesome names.
Yeah, really, really good names. And again, they weren't first thought. Like, as an old domain investor, you see the consonant vowel, and like the 5-letter.coms, those kind of things. But the top and the bottom of our list today are by far my
insane list. Best list I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. Well, and part of it is because we haven't done a Sherpa review in about 3 weeks, so it allows us to really kind of, there's the cream of the crop, you know what I mean? Because what happens is when we get into 3 shows in 3 weeks, by the end of that 3rd week, we're like down pretty low on the list, And
when I do my list, I only go a week out, so I don't get caught up in things that are coming 2 weeks later. So I actually hadn't seen them yet. So as soon as I saw them, I actually went and put bids on them the day you sent the list out, just to remind myself.
Hey man,
so I don't miss it.
You hear that,
NameJet? Those are solid names, and honestly, we're big fans of NameJet because they sponsor us, and we want them to do well. So when you see names come like that, you want them to get the cash. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, dude, when I used to run the business, right, and
that's true. I forget, yeah.
And like we would see stuff like this come through, and I'd be like, oh, please, just get it. Let's get to auction, And,
let it get there so that we can pay our bills. Yeah, no doubt about it.
100%.
Yeah. So you love seeing this 32-year-old. Everybody wants and waiting for the names, and you hope nobody sees it but us. But it's a little late.
We might have to just not run this show.
Yeah, exactly. Don't run it. Just thank them and just run a straight 30-minute commercial.
I'm already moving funds in my around into my account right now, lining up in big bids.
Yeah. Big bids. It's not worth it. Not financial advice and not encouraging. In fact, let's go the opposite. Stay away. All right, cool. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I like all of the names. There's really, Gene Technology is a little generic for me. Literally, that's the only name on there that I wouldn't add. You're always going to do fine with a 3-letter.org and those kind of names. Gene Technology, I own a lot of genetic testing and gene ones, and they don't seem to sell, but they do get traffic. They just don't seem to sell very well for me.
I think it's also early. I have a few too, and I think it's still early.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got genetic testing and genetic testing.ai. I just got to match up to it.
Oh, wow.
Hang on to genetic testing.
Yeah.
On to that.
Or do I might have genetic test. I don't know. I've been so bad about Josh in the Discords. I say I have something, I look. Like I said, I had propagate the other day, and I'm like, oh shit, I got propagation. Like, you look at so many things and you think you know your own portfolio. I only have like 800 names, but I bid on propagate, I'm sure, at some time, and I bought propagation at some time, and I can never remember all these forms of words that I have.
We were talking about a name the other day, and Drew's like, we own that?
Yeah, exactly.
Matter of fact, it was like solid. It was a solid name.
Yeah, and it's like a 5-figure name, and you're thinking, you own that? And I'm like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Or I'm yelling out 6-figure names that I don't own, which is even worse.
Hey, man, it's all good. It's like wishful thinking.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Drew, let's go ahead and wrap it up, man. If you want to do a quick 30 seconds on anything that we haven't already talked about, and then we're
I think you guys nailed all of it. I like Loza, Losa. I think it's a great name. I just love pronounceable 4 letters. I just love them. And yeah, I don't know. I think mostly all good names. Even the little 3-letter nets and orgs.
Yeah.
Be happy to have.
I think we touched everything's worth it.
All right. All right. Well, then with that, you have anything? Let's go around the horn, starting with you. Got anything else to close with before we jump?
Is that Drew?
Yeah.
Oh, to me, I have officially booked my flights for NamesCon, so I will. For the first time, I can say I will definitively be. Well, nothing is definite. I may not be alive tomorrow, but pending disaster, I will be at NamesCon. So I'm excited to see everybody, and I will be in Miami. If you don't have your tickets for NamesCon yet, get your tickets now. What else? I think that's it.
All right.
It.
Well, cool. Yeah. Let's get it.
Oh,
All
by
right,
the way,
Josh.
bought my son a 3D printer. It's Bamboo Labs. I have been skeptical, and now I think it's basically magic. Like, I watch it and I'm just like, what the hell? Thank God for really, really smart people. Like, I don't know what the math looks like to make that thing work, but if you actually watch it, laying these micro, thin little lines of plastic and the detail of these fine, we printed a 911 Porsche Turbo. The wheels, the freaking detail on this thing is so insane to me. I truly cannot imagine how these things work and how they get these various moving parts to coordinate into these microscopic little. I'll tell you what, after watching this 3D printer do it, I want a robot doing surgery on me before a human all day, every day. Like, this thing is just like million miles an hour. It drops this shit and it comes out flawless. Crazy.
That's insane. That's insane. Not even that expensive, huh?
No. I was like, this thing must cost thousands. And it's like $200.
It's all in the filament. It's kind of like the toner.
It's like the razors. That's it, guys. Yeah. I just re-upped today. I was like, oh shit, I need blue filament.
Here's a free printer and hit the toner.
Nice to have some bread. And transparent. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that, but I better get some of that. So the next thing you know, you get $300 of filament in the mail.
That's crazy. All right, Josh.
Yeah, all good, man. I guess we're gonna start doing a quarterly auction at DNX. Gonna start accepting submissions. It's gonna be highly curated, only stuff that I like, basically. And I think we're planning to do the first one mid-December. And yeah, I'll be taking submissions basically all the way up until that point. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And we got a bunch of other stuff in the works, which you will see shortly. That's all I got.
All right. Well, excited about that. DNX obviously doing its thing, and you guys and the team, it's just continue to do great work. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get busy with this and just keep it moving. All good. All right. Shane, what about you?
Same old thing at DSAD, just going over the list every day, putting it out there. Travis has been doing a good job of, a lot of people don't know, for 16 years, we've been collecting sales data, and we're starting to release some of it and put out little things. We've always done it. We just keep it for ourselves to write our back end for things. So we're deciding to release a lot of past information for free. And we may put out our own little full database at some point, but we're already getting hit with robots like crazy. I don't know if you guys have it on DNX, the amount of scrapers. I guess maybe you don't have as much, but we
got a whole thing where we got robots like creating accounts. Like for a while, we got thousands of them happening.
Yeah. We were getting 100,000 an hour to where even Cloudflare was having trouble with it. And so we were having to just manually go in and block IPs. And then they were not coming through the Cloudflare side. So once we cut the Cloudflare, they were coming to the direct IP address to circumvent Cloudflare and coming in straight that way. So we had to set something on the back end. So a lot of people scraping information and getting information for people that are giving information because of LLMs and all the things we talked about. Data is very important right now. So it's good to think that somebody thinks our data is worth something at DSAD.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, there you go. Data is
on
the
a
new oil.
personal level, I got a marathon coming up in a couple weeks in Chicago. I'm doing a 50K mountain race. So it's like 30 miles with like 5,000 feet of ascent. So I'm trying to get Aaron Wilkin, man, my old AD and DSAD, the accidental domainer. I don't know if you guys follow him on Strava. If you do want to follow the world's greatest human when it comes to endurance, Aaron he's amazing. He's doing 20 miles a day through the mountains of the Alps, and then he'll be in New Zealand doing it, and you'll turn around, he'll be in Patagonia. He's everything I wanted to be when it comes.
We talked about that before the show, and living the domainer dream, Drew. He's one of those guys living the domainer dream. Like, he just goes around and
insane fitness too. Insane. I mean, again, that's all I'm saying is, like, I want to run with him, and the only way to do that is to get in really good shape. So I'm doing these mountain races, and I cut 30 pounds. You know, we talked about it on another one that I have a protocol I'm using, and I've just gotten shredded and great endurance. So now if I can just keep from being old man broken down, we'll be good. But it is good for the mind. Drew said it earlier. When you're in good shape and you're exercising and feeling good, everything else works better. Your main investing, your personal investing, your home life. When you are a healthy, happy dude, everything around you spins better. So that's where I'm at right now. So all good.
I'm all about it, man. I always try and stay in shape. Yesterday I made the mistake though of playing some basketball with some of the younger kids, and that was
we can't cut at this age. Our cutting's like Josh, that's why he moved to pickleboard. Tennis is a little too much side to side.
Oh, dude, 100%. I would get cooked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but yeah, I'm feeling it today, you know, and it wasn't like I was out there killing it either, you know what I'm saying? Like, I probably looked like I was struggling, and I still feel like a complete, like, broken down horse today. But hey, they needed a sixth guy, and we did pick up the dub. So in your face, kids.
I love it when we get up off the ground, it's like we're coming out of a starting block, like we slowly rise up. Like to get vertical, to get, my wife said, is it going to take you 3 minutes to get your shoulders over your ankles? So I'm like, I'm getting there.
You know what? Most days I feel the same way, but at the moment, the last week or so, I feel really good. And it was my son's birthday, and he had a birthday party at this, like, it's kind of like the YMCA, the Portuguese version of the YMCA. And so they've got places for kids to have parties, and then they've got the big gyms and auditoriums and all the different equipment, and they got a gymnastics thing, and they take you around. The kids spend 30 minutes in 3 or 4 different rooms. One of them was the gymnastics room. I was messing around on some of the equipment, having a little fun, mostly feeling like I was going to hurt myself.
Doing the iron
claw. To take the ropes, and it's probably a 50-foot ceiling. And they got the big, the big ropes, the big thick, ropes that hang down. And I climbed floor to ceiling, up the rope, unassisted, 3 times in a row, with pretty good haste. And I have to say, I impressed myself. I was like, damn, I didn't actually think I could do that. And then I came down, and all these kids are like, oh, and not one kid could do it. Not one kid could go more than like 5 meters. And then you had the smart ass.
Especially now with Drew shaking the rope, you know.
Did you use your foot method where you turn the foot around and push up?
The first time I tried to do it, I couldn't remember really how to do it right. And it wasn't working. And then I just brute forced it. And I did it brute force. The next 2 times was full brute force, up and down. Because I got my leg all twisted. I was like, I know there's this weird trick where you get your leg all, and it gives you some support, and you could even hang out for a minute if you got tired. I couldn't get that right. I couldn't get my foot in the I don't know why.
Oh, man.
You just shouldered it the whole way up.
I just shouldered it. Literally just
No, not for me, man. I watched like that American Ninja Warrior, and I'm just like, these dudes look like aliens. It's like that video you posted on Twitter yesterday or on X.
That was the craziest shit I've ever seen.
Where that dude with the
I've never seen
million,
any
he's
athletic
backflipping
shit
it. He's
I've-
backflipping at the speed of Usain Bolt, and then he jumps and does like a quadruple something with spins involved. It's like, I don't even know how
as
you
far
get
as
to
I
the
can
point
tell,
that you know
he's
you can do
barely
that.
touching the floor. I don't even know how he's getting that much bounce and like
Dude was flying.
momentum and speed, and
Crazy.
dude's just.
Shows you humans are capable of great things, and we do
You
have.
ever done like 3 or 4 cartwheels in a row?
No.
Because I'm so dizzy afterwards that I can't even I couldn't even tell up from down. I'd fall flat on my face.
Oh, can you do multiple cartwheels? No, because I'm not a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a
But
year-old man.
but I respect your ability to do that.
Well,
And-
to be fair, I probably couldn't do a single cartwheel today. But my point is simply that, if you just do a couple cartwheels or go spin around 4 times,
oh god,
you don't even know where you are.
that's what I mean. I'm like, how do
Do
these dudes even figure out that they have
80
this
miles an
ability?
hour, head over heels. I think he did 38 flips, and then went off a trampoline 90 feet in the air, spun 400 times, and landed on his feet.
Dude, I saw a dude, yo, and
He didn't
on
know
that
shit
thing-
about domains though, so
exactly same thing. I saw this guy do his Red
He
Bull.
would be buying .ai domain names all day.
I saw this guy doing on a Red Bull stunt with this semi truck that had a bunch of cars that were all these jumps and things on this bike, doing flips and things on this.
and the semi was moving, so he was staying in the same place the whole time.
Yeah, but it's insane what he was doing, and it's like, how do you even get to the point that you know you can do that shit?
That's what I always ask. How do you have the balls to do it the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, the
'cause-
great part is they do all that, and at the end, I put 4 pennies on my elbow and I grab them. I'm
Exactly.
like, check that shit out, boys.
Second time they fly over. Yeah, exactly. It's
I
like,
forgot about that one. I got to do
Yeah,
that.
I was
My
like-
I might be impressed by that.
Game over, everybody. Take your Red Bull and go home. I just got all 5 pennies in my hand. Look at them. All right.
Speaking of which, adrenaline.com, MediaOptions, is officially brokering the domain name adrenaline.com.
Yeah.
Of which I happen to think Red Bull would be the perfect owner, or Monster Energy. But adrenaline.com, if you know the right buyer for that name, let us know.
let us know. We'll figure something out.
That's a good
All right.
See? It all tied together.
That's it. All roads lead to domains.
That's exactly right. So listen, to the audience, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you guys who hung out for this 2-hour show, we might even have to break this into two episodes.
No, stop it. People like
pl-
it. They like the
I'm
length.
playing. Yeah, they like it for sure. They love it. They love you. I think, but no, look, I say it on every show, without you guys, there is no us. We do appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you so much to my co-hosts. As always, you guys are the best, giving out this much alpha, taking your time to give it to the audience in an effort to, bring everybody under the tent. Rising tide lifts all boats. In the words of Bill and Ted, everybody be excellent to each other. Please, it is important. And we'll see everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out, y'all.